Embryo connection in the human direction. It's Rhyme and Reason 580.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're here.
Hey there, Tony here. And would you agree with me that life is full of weird and wonderful stuff? I mean, it is. There's a lot of weird stuff and there's a lot of wonderful stuff. So there's a lot of weird and wonderful stuff. Life is full of it. And I mean, stuff that you'd probably never make up on your own, at least not if you don't want to let your mind wander off to the dark side all the time. Like, for example, through a series of links for some embryo information I was looking for, I saw a thumbnail for a horror sci-fi movie on YouTube. It starred Rock Hudson, and it was called Embryo. So right off the bat, that was weird. I mean, making an embryo connection with a Rock Hudson horror sci-fi movie? I mean, tell me it's not just me. That's weird. Anyway, I didn't watch the movie, and I didn't go click on the link because, I'm not a big Rock Hudson fan, and not a small Rock Hudson fan either, so I'm not a fan. But anyway, there was also another embryo connection that I didn't know about. I saw in the links as you do a search, and you'll see all the links, the possible links. It was I found an organization or company, I'm not sure, that's actually called Embryo Connections. You ever heard of them? I never had heard of them before. If you've heard of them, what do you think about the info on their website, or have you been there? If you haven't, here's what part of it says. There's a bullet list that I copied. You should see it in the show notes to this podcast or over at tonyfunderburk.com/embryo connection. The bullet list says freedom to choose embryos that are right for you and help you through the process, perhaps based on physical characteristics, personality, genetics, relationship options, or other considerations. That's the first bullet point. Second bullet point, legal support so that you feel confident that those M-babies, EMM babies, which is embryo, I'm guessing, embryo babies, to feel confident that those M babies are yours. Third bullet point, concierge service, to take the burden out of the process. We handle the requirements to move them to your clinic so that you can use your own trusted docs, which is short for doctors. All right, the next and final bullet point that I copied and shared is, it says siblings. Whether there are a few or several in your batch, you store them at your fertility clinic so that you can implant as many times as embryos, potentially providing genetic siblings for your children. Now, I just copied and pasted that, so that sentence sounds a little odd to me, but I'm guessing it means that, if you get embryos from the same batch or, several of them in the same, that you could have siblings. You could have kids who are actually blood related to one another. I guess that's how that works. I don't know. Wow. I mean, you just think of what technology allows us to do these days. It sort of boggles the brain, doesn't it? I mean, it's a little Frankensteinish, and it's also pretty amazing when you think about it. But I think it probably only scratches the surface of what's going on in this complex universe that we call home. Now, maybe all of this means nothing to you right now. I mean, generally speaking, it means nothing to me. I'm at an age and a time in my life where I'm not focused on having kids. I'm way past that. But, maybe it means something to you because maybe you're, thinking about that right now. But if it means nothing to you, maybe it's, you're way more focused on politics and propaganda and stuff like that right now, which I get it. That's in the forefront of the news and in a lot of people's minds here in America, at least. But I just thought it was at least a little food for thought on the topic that has potential eternal consequences. You can consider, my take on this or disregard it at your discretion. I didn't really give you much of a take on it. I was just kind of sharing the information, but I'm kind of, I don't know, I'd have to look more into it. But I'll leave you with this rhyme, this thought, a 2-line rhyme with thought that life is so much more than R's and D's. So dig a little deeper, won't you please? Okay. And like I said, it'd just be a little short info on embryos and the connection. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Tony from Rhyme and Reason Podcast, brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com. Go over there to the merch tab and get yourself that t-shirt that says, "Life has rhyme and reason because God made you."
There's a